Good evening, everyone. If you've landed here, you've landed on Let's Talk News, and I'm your host, Letitia Romero. And we may have a decent show for you. I don't know. But I do appreciate everybody being here all the time. Hi, Kevin from the other side of the world, but the same side of the issues. Hey, Kevin, I was thinking about you today. How is winter coming by you? I mean, is it getting colder? What's it like over in Australia? Um, it always fascinates me how we're opposite of each other in weather. Hi, Francine. Good to have you with us. We are going to talk about some congressional brawls. I wanted to talk about some historic congressional brawls and some current congressional brawls. And this is in honor of America's 250th anniversary. I wanted to talk about the things that make our Congress kind of get out of control. As you may know, Parliament in the UK has often gets out of control. It's got a history of brawling. There is no civil discourse, if you will. It is really a free-for-all over there in the UK. So when our founding fathers created Congress, the goal was to keep it as a genteel and a very polite place. That's why they all call people the gentle lady or the gentle man from whatever state. And statements like I yield the floor and things like that. So it's not often that we get out of control in our government, in our Congress. But yesterday things got pretty much out of control. But that wasn't the first time. I asked Grok actually to give me my hair is a mess, to give me incidents of when Congress has gotten out of control. And we're going to talk about it. But first Kevin answered my question. Winter started 1st June, but been mild so far. So so when you celebrate Christmas, it's warm. But I guess it was warm in Jerusalem too, huh? Yeah. So that whole, Santa Claus stuff, that was an American thing, right? That was Coca-Cola did that. Yeah, I guess that is all just hooey. So, hi, Professor. Good to have you. And Andrew Dorman's with us, and Karen, good to have you. And hello, Angela Ricca, good to have you. All right, so coming up on the 4th of July, let's talk a little bit about little known facts and things. First, I wanted to address a juicy tidbit related to the Revolutionary War and to America's independence. So in June 1776, just weeks before the Declaration of Independence was signed, George Washington narrowly escaped assassination plot orchestrated by his own personal bodyguard, Thomas Hickey. Hickey was a Continental Army soldier and a member of the Life Guards, which was Washington's elite security detail. Now, Washington had a bunch of spies. He was a clever guy. But at any rate, Hickey was part of a larger loyalist conspiracy in New York involving corruption, counterfeiting, and plans to kidnap or kill Washington and other patriot leaders. The plot was uncovered through intelligence work by a secret committee that later helped lay the groundwork for what became the CIA. So Hickey was court-martialed and he was hanged. He was the first person hanged in the new America on June 28, 1776, before a crowd of thousands. So Washington's cool handling of the whole incident helped stabilize the cause at a critical moment. It's, we think of the revolution as just us fighting the British. But, if you've ever seen the movie or the play 1776, that New York dragged its feet a lot. New York was, they were loyal to the crown. And that later became the capital of America, New York City. And George and Martha hated it there. And I could see why, because they had been plotting and scheming to stop the revolution. So very, very interesting how New York really never did get all the way on board with the parting ways with the British government or the crown. Kevin says we have a hot Chrissy on the beach. Oh, okay. All right. Well, that makes sense. But I guess that's what happened in Jerusalem too, right? It was hot. That's what people did. Okay. So let's see let's talk about brawls in Congress. Okay. Because I asked Grok to give me 3 of the most famous, and I'm going to give you a little look. Okay, so this was in 1798, February 15th. This early incident in the House of Representatives is one of the first recorded physical fights on the floor. Federalist Roger Griswold from Connecticut attacked Democrat-Republican Matthew Lyon from Vermont with a hickory walking cane, angered by the House's failure to expel Lyon after Lyon had spat tobacco juice at him during a prior quarrel. Lyon fought back with a fireplace tongs, and the two traded blows until colleagues intervened. A resolution to expel both failed. The event highlighted partisan bitterness in the young Republican, and the young Republican was widely caricatured in prints, and that's what I'm showing you here is the print. So that was interesting. The next was this one, the caning of Senator Sumner. The single most infamous act of congressional violence after Massachusetts Senator Charles Sumner, a fierce abolitionist, delivered his fiery crime against Kansas speech denouncing slavery and insulting Southern senators, including apparently a relative of his attacker. South Carolina Representative Preston Brooks entered the Senate chamber and beat the seated Sumner over the head with a metal-tipped cane. Brooks struck repeatedly more than 30 times until the cane broke, leaving Sumner bloodied, unconscious, and severely injured. He took years to recover fully. Brooks was hailed. All right, Brooks was South Carolina guy. Brooks was hailed as a hero in the South and fined $300. Sumner became a martyr for the anti-slavery cause in the North. The attack dramatically escalated national divisions and helped push the country towards civil war. So, I mean, they're pretty passionate stuff. We're talking about slavery. We're talking about pretty passionate stuff. That stuff got really violent in Congress. And then the last one here was in 1858. It was a floor brawl in February. February seems to be the time. February, May. So this was the biggest brawl. It erupted around 2 a.m. during heated debates over, again, pro-slavery Lecompton Constitution for Kansas Territory. South Carolina, another time, South Carolina Democrat Lawrence Keat insulted Pennsylvania Republican Galusha Grow, calling him a black Republican puppy, grabbed him by the throat, and the two started fighting. It quickly escalated into a melee involving 30 to 50 members, largely split North versus South, Republican Free Soilers versus Democrats. Members threw punches, overturned furniture, and brandished objects. Wisconsin's John Bowie knife Potter, and Cadwalader Washburn famously yanked off Mississippi Democrat William Barksdale's wig. He replaced it backwards, sparking laughter that helped end the fight. The sergeant-at-arms used the house mace to restore order. The brawl symbolized deepening sectional rifts just before the Civil War. Kansas ultimately entered a free state. So those were the three historic battles on the floor of Congress. And I think what we're going to see in a minute is going to be the fourth most notorious. Let's see. We have been joined by lots of people. Hi, Gloria. Good to have you. Hi, Gary. Good to have you. Hi, Luthman. Good to have you. Yeah, tobacco juice. Yeah. I'm well, Ramon. How are you? Luthman says I could use a good beating. You know, I'll take the money. Vincent LaGuardia Gambini. Yeah, that's true. Ed Pawson. Letitia, were you able to get to DC for any of the 250 celebrations of state displays? I have not been able to, Ed, but I'm thinking that we're definitely going to Virginia this year, and we're probably going to get into DC. I don't know if the displays will still be up. My mom is not well. She's progressing, but she fell, so we can't really go far from home. Were any of you able to get to DC to see any of the displays? I mean, they look great on TV. I don't know. I don't think much of the media is covering it other than the conservative news stations. All right. So yesterday was a hearing in Congress for angel parents. These are parents who lost their children to illegal immigrants. One of the people who was murdered, was Sheridan Gorman, and her mom testified yesterday. And I'm going to show you clips from yesterday because some of it is sickening. Watch what happened when Mike Lawler, an old friend of mine, and again, the representative for the Gormans, watch when he was introducing the Gorman. This clip is a little long, but it's worth it, especially if you haven't seen it.
I'm here today to introduce Jessica Gorman. Jessica should not be here today. She should not be testifying before Congress. She should be back in New York with her daughters, Madeline and Sheridan, enjoying a quiet Tuesday afternoon in the summer. But unfortunately, Jessica is here with us today. And she's here because just a few short months ago, her beautiful daughter, Sheridan, was shot and killed in Chicago by an illegal immigrant. I cannot say it loud enough or clear enough, but this nation and this Congress owes you an apology. We are sorry to you, to Tom, and to Madeline. I didn't know Sheridan personally, and that's a tragedy. But I know her family, and I know the Yorktown community. I know that she was a kind and compassionate young woman who cared about her community and had a bright future ahead of us. And I know without a doubt in my mind the incredible things she would have done with her life should she had been given the chance. Her murder was senseless. It should not have happened. Our immigration policies exist for a reason, and they should have been enforced. Sheridan would still be with us today, and Jessica would not have to testify before this panel. Our immigration laws facilitate legal immigration processes to ensure that good, smart people can come into this country, assimilate, and contribute to our communities, while also ensuring that criminals who break the law do not get to stay. Their jobs are made infinitely harder when places like New York and Chicago blatantly disregard existing law and provide safe harbor to criminals. Sanctuary policies
Mr. Chairman,
are the reason.
Point of order. This is a statement, not an introduction. lady's point is well taken. Gentleman, please confine his remarks to the introduction.
Thank you.
Back in May of 2023, over 3 years ago, Sheridan's murderer illegally entered the United States. Border Patrol caught him. They apprehended him. But then, because of the Biden administration's ludicrous open border policies, he was released into our country. A month later, he was arrested for shoplifting in Chicago. Under existing law and the law at the time, he should have been deported right then and there.
Point of order, this is not an introduction.
By our federal laws.
Point of order, this is not an introduction, it's a speech.
You should be ashamed of yourselves.
Mr. Chairman,
disgraceful.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
we
for
had
ruling on the point of order.
Mr. Chairman.
Precisely because you have failed to do your job.
Yes,
Mr.
for
You wonder
Chairman.
why we had 4
Everybody
years for
settle down.
hearings? It's because you don't understand the
Gentlemen will
consequence of
suspend.
sanctuary policies.
Mr. Chairman,
Gentlemen will
unfortunately, we won't
suspend.
give our approval for people to introduce their constituents if people don't stick to the rules. So I appreciate the chairman's insistence that we stick to the rules and that you have the opportunity to introduce your constituent, which I
Right,
think
and
you have
introducing
done.
my
So
constituent
thank you very
is-
much, Mr. Lawler and Mr.
is
Chairman.
sharing the
Please have
details
committee
of her death.
be in
You may
order.
not want to hear the details. It may be an inconvenience to
Mr.
you,
Chairman.
but these details matter.
The gentleman will suspend. We have an agreement with the minority that the introductions will be introductory only. So if I could just ask for the gentleman to make that introduction and conclude.
Sure. When you send your kid to college, you should be worried about making sure they go to class, or hopefully that they have a nice roommate, or how to help them get a summer internship. Not worried that illegal immigrants are shooting them while they're out with their friends looking at the Northern Lights. It is shameful that we are here. Not because this is the fourth hearing, but because we need to have 4 hearings to make people understand the real life consequences of the disastrous sanctuary city policies. So while some of my colleagues may not want to hear the truth, the same outrage you feel about Renee Good and Alex Preddy,
Mr.
you should
Chairman,
feel about
would you
Sheridan Gorman
please
and
end
Laken Riley
this-
and every Angel
end this
family
statement?
in this country.
I do feel that outrage.
You do not, because if you did, you would not support
Do you
sanctuary
feel the
jurisdiction.
outrage about
You
Alex
should be
Preddy and
ashamed
Renee
of
Good?
yourself.
You should be
ashamed
You don't
of yourself.
belong in this committee.
Jamie.
You should get the hell
You're
out of
a
here.
disgrace.
You don't understand the
You're a
rules of the committee.
disgrace.
You don't understand the Constitution.
You're a
Mr.
disgrace.
Full of
Raskin,
it.
Mr.
You're
Raskin,
an
absolutely full of
absolute
it.
disgrace
Raskin,
supporting
get a hold of
sanctuary
yourself.
Say
policies.
one word about
Get rid of
Mr.
Say one
sanctuary
word about
policies.
Alex Preddy and
I
Renee
did.
Good.
I wrote a whole New York Times op-ed about it. You should be absolutely
follow the
ashamed of
rules of the
yourself
committee.
for
Mr.
not
Chairman, committee will
opposing
be-
sanctuary policies that resulted in their daughter's death.
The committee will be in order.
Mr. Chairman, I just
going
want to
to-
say we will not allow, thanks to Mr. Lawler's outrageous outburst, we will not allow this to happen again. This was an
will-
agreement
we
between
will
the
proceed.
chair and the ranking member, and unfortunately, you're not able to
We will
control your
proceed.
members, so it is time for us to proceed.
Your opening
Yes.
statement was
proceed.
outrageous.
We
You
will
should be ashamed of
proceed in
yourself.
Not on the
order.
committee.
I yield back.
Get off of it.
So, I mean, this is happening in front of parents whose children were murdered by illegal migrants, and they couldn't sit there and listen to Mike's commentary about why the kid was murdered. It's amazing. Before I read the comments, let me just, here is Rep. Jai Paul. This is, it's part of her opening statement. I couldn't do the whole thing because it was just too awful. Hold on a second. Okay. I don't know what happened to it. I thought I had it, but I will get that up for you in a minute. Let's just go to our commentary. Ed says that Florida is a tough commute to Washington. Well, South Carolina is only a few hours difference. But yeah, like I said, we're gonna head that way. It's about 6 hours for us here. Thank you, Kevin, for the happy birthday wishes. Jamie Raskin is a disgrace, says Ramon Hernandez. He is always plotting something. Lithman says, I thought Jerry Lawler was the king, not anymore. Mike, the King Lawler. Yeah, that's the truth. That was Raskin and Jaypal yelling at Lawler. Jaypal is the ranking member. And, it's just like a Democrat. We will not allow people to speak if you don't follow the rules. Fuck you. Fuck you. You guys don't follow the rules. Sanctuary cities not following the rules. Ramon says it has proven that the sanctuary policies leads the deaths of American citizens while it protects illegal migrants, criminals, and soft on crime policies is part of the problem while public officials look the other way. Absolutely. Absolutely. Raskin is a worthless commie bastard. Yes, he absolutely is. Gary says, funny how the minority becomes the majority. Because, and I love Mike for just pushing on and not cowing to them. You don't belong in this committee. Leave. Get the fuck out of here. You're members of Congress, you assholes. Yeah, Raskin is a piece of shit, and I'm being nice here. Yeah, you are. I don't know how I'm going to get this clip to work, but here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play Mama Gorman's statements, and we'll go from there.
When I came into the room, I saw this poster that you made. It says, at every stop, the system had a chance to stop him. At every step, it failed. And my daughter paid for those failures, your failures, with her life. No family should ever have to bury a child because public officials fail to put American lives first. I'm just asking you to choose us. We choose you. We choose you. Choose us. Why does my child matter less than an illegal immigrant? Why? I'm not racist. I'm not xenophobic. We've done everything right, my husband and I. We taught our daughter to be wonderful, beautiful person. Her love was extravagant. And now I'm going to have to spend my last waking moment, I'm going to have to spend fighting against these policies, fighting for people to say her name. So if you have the courage, please come talk to me. Come sit on that bench. I'll buy Congress a bench. Talk to each other. Talk to each other. We shouldn't be screaming across the room. I mean, we also shouldn't say but, because I have to just say, and I understand that you're here for a reason. I don't understand why it's only the Republican side that cares about our American children. And I know that you're a mother. I know that you're a father. I deeply value that. But basically what you just did, what you said was, I'm so sorry for your loss. I have a daughter too. I have a son. I feel your pain. You don't. You don't feel my pain. Because the next words out of your mouth were, but. There's no but. When your child is in a coffin, there's no but.
So what Jaypal said, and I can't get it up, is she started by saying that she was very sorry, and she welcomed the parents, and she couldn't imagine their pain. She's a parent herself, and then she said, but. This is the fourth hearing we've had about your kids being killed, and she didn't say that, I'm paraphrasing, but this is the fourth hearing that we've had on this subject, and I much rather have been spending our time doing something else, like talking about birthright citizenship and the terrorization that the ICE agents have been doing, committing in the community, and that Preddy and Good were killed. Are we going to have a hearing about that? She went on and on about how much funding ICE was getting and how dare they, and who was arrested and who wasn't, and that law enforcement was out searching for migrants, and not all the migrants were criminals. And she claimed 400,000 people had been arrested under Trump. But she said all this to people whose children were murdered by illegal migrants, who we now know that their party and the Biden administration, their leader, actually paid to bring over, knowing that criminals were coming here, knowing that they were flooding our system. They were giving money to not-for-profits like Catholic charities to bring them here, our taxpayer dollars. You know, the brawls that we've had in the past in Congress on important issues, the revolution, you know, separating from the crown, slavery, business, workforce, big stuff for America. And though this didn't come to blows, that brawl that we had yesterday might have been one of the most important brawls we've had. Because to me, when your country is being invaded in one half of one of the major parties who are not in power only by several seats, are supporting that, are using your tax dollars to bring in foreign entities that do not like our country, traitors. That's a brawl. That's a big brawl. And I don't think that this is the last we're going to hear of it. I think it's going to be truly, this is going to be bad shit. It really is. Luthman Andrew says, beat those commie bastards indeed. Kevin said, Mom Gorman spoke from the heart. She really did. It was an amazing speech. I mean, she spoke for 10 minutes. If you get a chance, Fox has it on their channel. I mean, you could get it on Forbes, you can get it on just about anybody has it on YouTube. You can watch that whole hearing. It was amazing. Ramon says Lawler has the reason to lash out against Pramila Jayapal and Jamie Raskin because of their Trump derangement bullshit, allowing this to destroy the lives of American citizens and insulting the angel families. Pramila and Jamie Raskin are hypocrites and a disgrace to the committee, and their apology means nothing. You know, the thing is that they're literally traitors. I mean, they're traitors. Remember, we did the show on this. They used our tax dollars to bring in these illegal migrants to help them get here. And that was their party. Yes, Scott, let's go ICE. Liberalism, socialism at best, liberalism, socialism at best, down with America. That I don't understand that comment. Hi, Maisie, good to have you. I could tell you that today I had an incident that I was shocked at. I was in Dollar General here in South Carolina, in my very, very red state, and a gentleman was ahead of me, and he was purchasing a case of beer, and he started a conversation with me, and I was kind of not paying attention because I was off in my own little world. But then he started up a conversation with the cashier, and he was saying how Mamdani, he has to go back to New York, not the city, upstate, but Mamdani was going to destroy the whole state because Hochul, was beholden to Mamdani and socialism and all this stuff. So, of course, that caught my attention. And all of a sudden, the cashier, who was about 50 years old, fat, not very fat, but fat like me, pink and blue hair, white, she was white, piercings, turned around and said, I'm a tree-hugging communist liberal. To which my response was, oh, bless your heart. And he was all about straightening her out and telling her that, socialism doesn't work anywhere and it can't work here and yada, yada, yada. And I chimed in and said, Margaret Thatcher said the problem with socialism is you run out of other people's money. And she said, oh, yeah, money? Now, do you know that if Elon Musk gave $1 million to everybody in America, he'd still have $1 million, which is not true because the math doesn't math. But I said to her, well, why would you expect that somebody who made all those millions should give you money or anybody else money? And she said, because nobody makes that type of money legally or legitimately. To which I said to her, well, I know you'd never know because you want people to pay your way. And her response was, so you think America is great, do you? Well, what are you? We're colonizers, slaveholders. America can't be made great again because it never was great. I was beyond shocked. I couldn't get out of there fast enough. And I said to her, listen, I don't want to discuss politics with you because clearly you don't know anything about government or politics. And I packed up my stuff and I paid, and I was very polite, even though I was spitting nails. But it dawned on me, why was she in South Carolina? What was she doing here? If she thought Mamdani and the socialist communists New York was such a great deal, why wasn't she there? And it can't be money because she was working in Dollar General, making probably $10 an hour because South Carolina doesn't have a minimum wage. So moving to New York and earning minimum wage, she would have been doing better. And she was, why is she living here? She's living here because that's the big plan. The big plan is to make sure that we infiltrate the red states. Ramon says people better remember this before they go vote. Yep. I'm praying for your mom. I hope she's okay. She's doing much, much better. Thank you. Luthman says, I love South Carolina. You're close to Brook Green Gardens, right? Yes, I am. Love it, love it, love it. One of my favorite places to be, Rich. Ramon says it doesn't matter. Democrat, socialist, communist with sprinkles on top. It is. Everybody's racist. Well, that's true because that guy that was ahead of me. Part of the reason I wasn't listening to him is he was a white guy. It was like he came off a fishing boat and he had a case of beer in his hand. And I'm saying to myself, who buys beer at Dollar General? This is in my head. So I was kind of disregarding him as somebody who was, maybe drinking too much, already had a few pops. It was like 2:00 in the afternoon. And he was just chattering on, so I wasn't sure. He had a Southern accent and he had said that he was born in South Carolina, but for work, he wound up working upstate New York, near the Canadian border. And he came down to visit family and vacation a little bit. But imagine my surprise when the cashier winds up being the lunatic liberal. And this guy was, he was fighting her at every turn. Oh, my Lord. I'm thinking northerner, drunk, no. So you can't ever judge a book by its cover. Lorraine Scanny, good to have you. And that's why she's a cashier. Yeah, exactly. Ramon, my prayers to, everybody's praying for mom. I appreciate it. Fat in the brain, my response to her world would have been, you are fired. Yeah, well, I'm not that kind of person that would write to Dollar General and say that she should be fired. But if I was a cashier, I would shut my mouth. If I was a cashier off duty, that would be different. But why would you fight? You're in a red state. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to that Dollar General often and only buy like $1 thing and just start in with her every time I go. I think that's what I'm going to do. All about projection of power. It sure is, Professor. People just need to take responsibility instead of letting the government do everything, because most people identify as sloths. That's true. My senator, I have the greatest. I have Tim Scott. He's my senator. I do not claim Lindsey Graham. Tim Scott's my senator, and I love him. He's just the best. He is the best, and we have great times together. And he's helped Nicole, and he's done fundraisers for her, and I've done stuff for him, and he's great. And my congressman is Russell Fry, wonderful guy. He and Nicole, I introduced them as soon as he got elected. He beat a guy named Tom Rice, who actually voted for Trump's impeachment, and that's why Russell Fry wound up in. And Russell is a great guy. His staff is fantastic, wonderful. Graham, I just don't like Graham. Graham's a flip-flopper, and it's enough of him already. But I could not vote for the guy that was running against him because he was a Democrat in Republican clothing. So we had no choice but Lindsey. But I hope we get a choice next time. Be a proud racist and don't give I'm not a racist. I will say that I judge a book, like anybody else, right? You judge things by your surroundings. And this guy looked like he came off the fishing boat, which is fine by me. But, I thought he had a few pops and, was a little annoying. I guess that's what I was getting at. He was annoying. You have to question the intelligence of people who shop Dollar General. Well, that's me. I like Dollar General because Dollar General has some really great bargains. They're not from China. They're from India. Yes, it's not American. But they have good bargains. It's not like Dollar Tree. Tim Scott, yeah. I love Tim Scott too. He really is great. He's got some great stories, and he's a good senator. He really is. He knows about business. It's really good. And now we're getting Alan Wilson as our governor. I'm really excited about that. Russell does have a Democrat opponent, and one of my friend's daughters is working for him, and that's unfortunate. But we have a real move here for socialists to infiltrate South Carolina, and they hide as Democrats. Our Horry County Republican Committee and our state Republican Committee were infiltrated by Stacey Abrams' crew from Georgia. So this is a movement, and it's not a conspiracy theory. It's all fact, and it was big in our newspapers down here for quite some time. About 5 or 6 years ago, we have some problems. As a matter of fact, the place where I live was a golf course, and it was sold to a member of the CCP. CCP. And I don't know exactly how it all stopped, but it did. And the guy who was the lead for China wound up, he was stealing money from the CCP, and they imprisoned him, and I think that they executed him. And his girlfriend, his fiance, it was sent back to China. So, South Carolina is a very interesting state. It was the first in the Revolutionary War. It was always a very patriotic state. The representatives have guts. It was a Democrat state, but now it's absolutely Republican, and I love it here. Ramon, meaning love NASCAR. Let's go, Brandon. Yeah. Family Dollar, good stuff at a good price. Dollar store. Obama has changed to 99-cent store. Obama. Yeah. All right, everybody. We went way over. I thank you for being with me. I will be with you again tomorrow night. I think we're going to talk about the Constitution a little bit. Love you all. Thanks for supporting me. Talk to you soon.